Hi guys, this is going to be an art channeled message or channeled drawing. I channel messages through art and creativity. I hope my messages inspire you to see the art within yourself because we all start from zero, which is just a blank canvas. The message and or title is You Are Being Experimented On, and also Diary of a Madman Beyond Comprehension. This is interesting because as it progressed, it almost looked like a sequel to a similar channel drawing I did in the past called Mind Control. That was with my newspaper / channeling technique or channeling darkness technique. Anyways, it started out as a weird face, but then I noticed as I shaded it, it started to look like an open book. I'm getting being an open book typically alludes to sharing information about yourself openly, just like we can divulge the contents of a book at our very fingertips. I was also getting a message about the sharing of information unwillingly through data breaches or a lack of privacy, similar to how these sites quite literally track you, know everything about you, and show you ads sometimes that you only spoke about once, or you never searched it, let's say. Higher ups are actively using people as test dummies because they have such typical or predictable routines. I'm seeing a warning as well to not be an open book with everyone, because that information isn't always used for the greater good. I'm also picking up on someone actively trying to tap into your psyche and or what they call Akashic records. Like, how do they know this? How do they do that? What's going on in that brain of theirs? It's kind of creepy if you ask me. Pay attention as well to the dreams or sudden thoughts you feel bombarded with. Keyword bombarded. Look at what's going on up here. Pay attention to the thoughts or feelings you're being bombarded with, similar to how we're bombarded with strange synchronicities or ads showing up regarding things you didn't even search for. That's private information. Every thought you have that you don't share is technically private information. That's for you and you only. Once again, we can divulge the contents of a book at our fingertips, but what if that leaves you feeling more confused? Hence the question marks and scribbles around the light bulb. It's very small, but you can see the question marks here. And as the light bulb was developing, or as I was channeling, it turned into scribbles, but it's also a part of this. And then it also goes into the book. I'm getting you're actively seeking answers, or you're on the brink of that light bulb moment where it all just clicks for you one day, but it only makes you feel lost, so to speak. The information is taking several unorganized turns. I'm getting unorganized turns in the brain because there's never a structured destination for it. This feels like you being bombarded by conflicting or contradictory statements, people that can contradict themselves, and mind control, propaganda. I'm even seeing there's something here about trying to do what's perceived as right or correct. Like when you look at a book for instructions or answers. Something here about being right or by the book, where you're in a little bubble. But once again, you're only met with confusion and very limited perspectives. There's little to no room here for imagination. only programming. It's like you're not allowed to question or interpret anything. You see this often with religion, but not just religion. There's so many things this can apply to. It's like there's only one way, which is going to leave you feeling depressed, anxious, judged, and trapped in the matrix. Essentially, just be a lab rat and do as you're told. I'm getting something regarding seeking knowledge that's beyond what you think you know. This realization you're on the brink of will not necessarily be found in a book. There's also a message here, and I was getting a message of how an open book of knowledge or easy access to certain sites, as in C, but also internet usage through sources, can actually destroy your peace of mind. You know how they say the more tapped in you are, the more of an old soul you are, the more woke you are, or the more you find out in general, the sadder or more hopeless you tend to feel when you look at the state of the world? This is the energy of what I heard as information gateways. I believe I even did a message similar to this topic before, where I compared it to gateway drugs. Someone with an addictive personality can start with minor alcohol and weed consumption, and that eventually leads them to heroin. This is very dark, but people consuming PORN and going from normal territory to not so normal territory, where it becomes sadistic, violent, etc., or predators going on the dark web to access disturbing subjects they have no business looking at. It's restricted and illegal for a reason, but it's never enough for them. They just keep going. I'm not gonna get further into that because the thought of it alone makes me sick and I don't want to think about it, but yeah. There's a link here as well, or at least in the way they were showing me the message, between the archetype of the Hierophant, religious figures, police, law enforcement, etc., and also what it represents, being by the book, traditional values, most of the time. This is taking it too far, is what I'm hearing, but thinking you can get away with it because of the position, Hierophant, or power one holds. There is no practicing what they preach, and that's the main problem with the information that's being fed to us. The issue lies mostly in it being the wrong messenger, or wrong people spewing information everywhere. I feel like this is a representation too of what's actively happening. It's like, right message, wrong person. I don't want to hear that from you. I hope that makes sense. Moving on, the eyes on the person look very wide to me, almost strung out. This is indicating to me that something addictive has caught their attention. The eyes are also abnormally close together, and beside them it looks like actual hands or binoculars. Do you see that? Perhaps this is one taking a closer look, or using tools to get a closer look, just like binoculars. This is seeing closer, seeing more, seeing something from a much deeper perspective. As I kept drawing, the arms and elbows started to form around where it looks like binoculars being held up to the face, and you start to see this full head. Except I got this strange feeling. It's as if you're being experimented on, or someone is being experimented on. Even the way it's depicted makes it appear that it's being forced on you. And I don't like that. They're being placed here, as you can see. I'm getting this weird depiction too of laser eye surgery, wide eyes, or putting a person under and taking tiny instruments and poking around. This feels like a procedure or general anesthesia. The next message is the person is being choked by what looks like barbed wire. And I thought that was interesting. It's like barbed or spiked wire, similar to what? An electrical or spiked fence that shocks you because you're not allowed access to that area. I kept hearing cruel and unusual punishment or medieval punishment, like medieval times. I'm also getting and channeling book as in study, sleep study. I was getting anesthesia, or an actual study as in statistic, in order to prove the negative or positive effects of something. It's as if indirectly we can make ourselves the test dummy or statistic/study and not even know it. Vaping, for example, that recently became a popular thing. Me personally, I never have and never will, but we still don't know all of the long-term effects of what those people will look like if they even make it to 50, 60, 70 years old. They're young now, therefore making themselves an experiment to then become a statistic of what not to do later. Like, they're the ones on commercials telling kids not to smoke. Do you see what I mean? It's a full circle moment. I'm also getting this weird thing where you will be a part of a study, but not necessarily a bad one like that. Your proof that it works, or your resilience, is going to be proof that it works. I'm seeing too, as a prediction, there's an element of you actually proving a statistic wrong. You typically hear this with mental illness. People with blank don't make it to a certain age, but that doesn't mean everyone though. People from blank background don't live fulfilling lives, or they fall into crime. Children, quote unquote, without a parent, or children coming from broken homes are most likely to blank, or studies show that blank. Says who though? There's a limitation being placed on someone, like race groups, cultures, environments maybe you grew up in, and you are not an experiment. You are a complex person. I feel like for some of you, you were actually told that at a young age, or maybe there was see, it's already making sense. A hierophant, maybe a teacher that was supposed to be encouraging and they weren't. That happens a lot. So you will be proving a statistic wrong, or proving someone else wrong that quite literally tried to write out your future for you before you could even try. It's like someone putting you under anesthesia when you're trying to make a logical choice. And it's like, wait a minute, I can't fight back if I'm under anesthesia. I can't do anything under this drug. That could be symbolic here too. Putting someone on drugs right away when there's other cures. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, actually, the statistic is wrong. Actually, there's generational curses being broken over here. It's an unnecessary bias, which is then very limiting and cruel to those going through real issues. Before my drawing progressed even more, by the books up here, it was all static in perfect straight lines at one point, as if to indicate, similar to what you see in cartoons, when someone or something is moving so fast that it looks like that. I kept hearing time continuum, or time is moving too fast, absorbing knowledge rather quickly. I'm even getting this aspect of someone picking up on something much quicker than average people their age. It's like some people that pick up on math very quickly, and other people are like, what am I looking at? And this is where things got even more interesting. I'm not sure if some of you already spotted it, because it is an optical illusion. But as I was drawing, I saw here and noticed the arms that formed binoculars, or the arms that were seemingly placing the eyeballs in the sockets for the person, actually forms a person. And they're wearing a shirt and pants. But I didn't see, emphasis on see, this at first. I was focused on the facial features and neck area. That's how I was seeing it. But the neck also just so happens to be the back, body, or torso of this person forcing the eyeballs onto the mannequin. It's like, how is that for an optical illusion? This is already the bigger picture. And then this didn't even exist yet. I can even put like an image here. It was just this. But that's also the chin. I'm getting this is deprogramming or deprogramming of the mind. Thoughts or ideas are being put or placed into your mind right now, and it's not coming from you. Perhaps this means projections. Don't take on what doesn't belong to you. You're not a test dummy or a target. I was also getting a love message here. Someone is trying to say, I wish you could see yourself through my eyes. It's like, it feels very Tim Burton or like a twisted love story. It's really weird where I can picture someone just like taking their eyeballs out and putting it in someone else's eye sockets. I don't know. That's literally what this is. That's the message too. I wish you could see yourself through my eyes, because for a majority of your life, maybe you've dealt with the projection, of people wanting you to view yourself in a negative manner, because that's how they felt about themselves, not you. There's this energy that's attempting to be somewhat endearing or uplifting to you. It's like, let me plant these good ideas into your brain because you're not seeing yourself as the beautiful being that you are. Your brain is lying to you. Just like they say your brain is lying to you when a person is experiencing anxiety and depression. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. They usually say with anxiety and depression, the brain is lying or the brain is sick. The person in general displays robotic or non-human traits, and it's as if this is AI or meant to represent technological advancement. And once again, there's emphasis here on the more knowledge you know, the darker it's going to get, or the harder it is to deal with the world around you. The same applies to technology. The more things like ChatGPT, I think that's what it's called, and AI progress, the dumber and darker society gets. We are relying too much on it, and there's a need or warning for you guys to pull away from that as much as you can. In my drawing, you can literally see that the man is putting the information in for him. This is making people dumb and reliant on external sources or external people to tell them how to feel or how to think or what's the truth. I personally refuse to use or engage with it because I'll take real art or real information over nonsense. I'll take my own thoughts through my own brain. I don't even have TikTok on my phone, and I refuse to have a robot tell me something that I can think of myself. And guess what? My attention span isn't fried. I'm getting technological advancement can quickly turn into a bad thing, like robots turning against humans. There's literally movies and concepts on why that's a bad idea. Once again, there's this aspect of unknowingly being a part of a research project, but in a cruel way. This is programming at its worst degree, and it's up to you to spot where it's occurring in your life. Which thoughts or ideals belong to you versus what's coming from, let's say, the government, What are you starting to wake up to and question? This is very similar to what they call the rat race trap. They want you to be exhausted and working 24/7 so that you're essentially robots with a predictable routine, you're easier to control, and more. This also zaps the energy and creativity you would need to start your own lane, business, etc., to essentially break away. I'm getting, you need to find at least a little time to do what you want to do. There's emphasis on setting time apart. Not sure what that alludes to. Next message I was seeing / getting is, well, as I was drawing and channeling, the person started to get crazy hair or static hair. That happens when you touch electricity, and that's pretty much a buildup of electrons. So I thought that detail was interesting, and it comes full circle once again. But I'm also seeing this as the equivalent to when they say it makes the hairs on your skin stand up. This is goosebumps. Something is scary or frightening. Something is or will become surprisingly true for you. Also, as I continue drawing, the ends of the hair sticking straight up got even thinner and more refined. I'm getting this as an evil genius turned to insanity because they know so much, or because they mistakenly desire to understand too much. I'm getting some things are simply outside of the realm of understanding. You'll never understand it, so don't try to. I wanted to compare it to Dr. Loomis with Michael Myers in the Halloween franchise. He was a psychologist, but he's never had a case like that before, where he even said himself that he wasn't dealing with a normal man. He was dealing with what he called pure evil several times, or it's demonic in a way. It drove him to insanity trying to understand or stop Michael. I'm getting a message about someone having a bizarre encounter with something deemed unexplainable, like paranormal, Bigfoot type shit, spiritual, or you encounter a person yourself that makes you go, yeah, I don't like that. There's plenty of things in life that can't be seen or proven, but people recount their experiences. It's outside the realm, quite literally, the realm of understanding. Same with true crime and serial killers, where you're like, how did they turn out like that? What happened? Is it something in their brain chemistry? Brain development? With plenty of serial killers and shooters, their body parts or personal documents are studied, such as their diary or something, to get a bigger picture or closer look into their psyche. It's like, why do certain things occur? There's a big question mark, like on top of the head where the light bulb is. But light bulbs also indicate to me here that there's clarity. You're finally getting clarity on a matter that's driving you to insanity trying to comprehend it. I kept hearing Diary of a Madman, and speaking of mad, I was also getting a theory regarding schizophrenics and drug addicts going hand in hand. I'm seeing self-medicating is being done because they see too much in the spiritual realm, or even just in general. The smartest people tend to self-medicate or run to other coping mechanisms because it's just too much. I'm also getting a strange prediction about something being rare or never before seen. This is a rare disease, rare mental illness I'm picking up on, or even a rare occurrence that doesn't make sense with logical information. Books. I'm also seeing a new breakthrough with shock therapy. Or that's how it's coming through. This could be a medical or therapeutical procedure involving energy or electricity. In studying how it affects or perhaps even heals a rare illness, I'm getting a breakthrough in medicine somehow. Lastly, before I wrap this up, I feel like the bigger picture of the canvas here, as well as what you can expect when you see this message, is definitely question where you're going by the book in your daily life. Sometimes trying to deconstruct everything that's outside the limit of understanding will not help you. But okay, that was this art channeled message. Remember, my messages have always been an optical illusion of many symbols. I even speak in metaphors. This includes the process as well, and it always develops or makes sense later. What am I saying without actually saying it? What do you see in my drawing? How does it make you feel? Just please like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and I'll see you later.